I dare you to get up in your house and go in your best Eddie Murphy voice. Good morning, my neighbors, and see who screams out the rest. But first, coffee. If you didn't get my reference before, I suggest you do not scream out, Good morning, my neighbors. But if you are watching me, man, that means you are up and it's time to rise and shine with your boy for a great cup of Coke. Joe, it's been a late night. I'm Ramon, and this is But First Coffee, where I get to sit and talk to my friends, some of the most influential and motivating people that I feel in my life. So, you may not think they're motivating, but that's okay because they're my friends. And today I have a special treat. This is a special treat. Anthony Griffith from Pomona, California. I'm reading. Yes, I am. I'm reading it. He's the youngest of five and the only boy. We have that in common. Uh, Also, born in Pomona as well. Southern raised in California, Anthony Griffith and his wife are both Xavier Universities of Louisiana graduates. Anthony received a BS in chemistry, and his wife received her BA in English with a minor in mass communications. After he graduated college, Anthony enlisted in the Army for 4 years and then commissioned as a field artillery officer and completed his 8 years as a junior officer. Anthony Griffin and his wife run a financial service brokerage headquarters in Northeast Houston, Texas. Together, they have 3 kids and a dog. Anthony Griffith enjoys spending time with God, his family, and extreme adventures. Enjoys outdoor activities, reading, and mentoring others who want to become the best versions of themselves. I love it. Introducing my friend right here on But First Coffee, Anthony Griffith. How are you, my friend?
What's up, bro? I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Got my cup of Joe. Got your cup of Joe. I hope it's not
Yep.
Coke. But I didn't get to tell everyone what my cup says. It says courage, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. For the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. That's Deuteronomy 31:6, man. You got your cup with you? What you got?
Yeah. It's just the field artillery, king of battle. That's it today. All my stuff is in storage. All
Yeah,
my
man.
cool stuff.
So like how long you been in Houston now? Because you've been around everywhere, bro. Like you just
Yeah.
been around. So how long you been in Houston for?
I got out this year in February. So
Oh, okay.
I've been in Houston for like what, 6, 7 months. So there.
You
Um,
just got there.
yeah, fam's been here for a little while. So in total, my father-in-law and all that stuff, they've been out here for about 10 years. So I've been
Okay.
coming back and forth for about 10 years.
All right. And what was your longest stint? Was it in Colorado?
Yes, I did 4.5 years in Colorado.
Dang, that's a lot of moving, bro.
Just a little bit, just a little bit.
Or we just getting to know each other, and then you moved to Atlanta. I was like, dang, like he just got here. But yeah, man. So we have a special treat for everyone on the HPTV and watching us on Facebook and YouTube because today is going to be Anthony Griffith Day. Because not only is he doing But First Coffee, he's also going to be doing Epic Thoughts tonight.
Yeah.
So this is his day, man. So I'm excited to have him on. This is the first time ever in Heritage Park history where I had the same guest in the morning that I did in the evening. So
Oh yes.
you
First
made
twos.
you made history, bro. Okay, so let's talk about a couple things real quick. I want to talk about you talk about financial advisor, and I honestly see you as a financial advisor. I don't he gonna be modest, so I don't want to say like expert or anything like that. But for those out there, what genuinely is a financial advisor? What's some of the things that you do mainly?
So I'm a life insurance and retirement broker. So I do life insurance and retirement strategies. Um, what we do is we literally educate people on life insurance. It just happens to be that life insurance is used for other opportunities or other things. By no means, I always say this, is life insurance an investment platform, but people are able to utilize it to build other things. So mainly it's about life insurance, but my wife loves to show people um, how they can budget, because that's part of it. It's just finances in general. So my mom, my wife shows budgeting. We sit down and we educate people with life insurance, and then we just end up sitting down and helping people get something that they need, which is life insurance. That's something everybody needs. So it's just that aspect.
You know, when it comes to life insurance, I feel like people, it's one of those entities where people try to do you think people are trying to escape the idea of insurance because they're trying to escape the idea of death, because for a lot of people they don't feel like this is something they need to focus on, you know, and unfortunately they don't focus on it until it's too late. But is that something that you think, because come on, man. If you got kids, you got family, you got to have some kind of nest egg or life insurance. So if and when the unthinkable happens, because look, I only know one person who has not died yet. Even Jesus died. So it's like, um, and the one person I didn't know that died is Enoch, you know, in the Bible.
Right.
So why are people so standoffish about life insurance, do you think?
Well, I think a couple of things that we call, like, we deal with these myths. So one of the myths is people think life insurance is too expensive,
Hmm.
and it's really not. It all
Hmm.
depends. I think it's about they say we overprice life insurance by 3 times. So I mean, you can go get you a $20 life insurance policy if that's nothing else. If you just need something, you can get that. The other thing is people think life insurance is there for just when you die, and they don't realize that a lot of people get sick before they pass away, and there's things called living benefits, things that are attached to life insurance policies that are able actually that pay you out while you're alive. So
Hmm.
they don't understand that there's things like that. They just, you hear life insurance and it's automatically death. That's what you think. That's what we say in our, when we're talking to a lot of people. Like, I'm pretty sure you thought about death at least like 5 times in our conversation, but
Yeah.
it's not just that. So that those are the two the biggest things that we see is people think it's just for death, and then people think like it's too expensive, so I can't get it, I can't afford it.
Hmm. You know, being a I, I don't know if you noticed, but you're black. So I just want to point that out to you if you haven't figured it out yet. Um, but I've noticed, like, in the black community, um, one, life insurance is not a not a big priority. It's just not a big priority. Two, it seems to be a financial understanding and financial literacy in the black community is something that's highly neglected, highly neglected. Are you finding that? Is it becoming more and more? Is it becoming less? Like, talk to me about the battles that, not as you, we'll get to the battles an entrepreneur. That's completely different in itself. But are you finding that to be still problematic?
Definitely.
Mm,
It's problematic. I think we utilize it this way. Okay. People that watch baseball, basketball, and football, they don't see things dealing with life insurance.
mhm.
People that see or watch tennis and golf, life insurance companies show things and deal with things dealing with life insurance.
Are you talking about like commercials and stuff?
Yep.
Okay.
So that's usually what they see. So I mean, I don't ever remember. I use this all the time when I talk. I don't ever remember being educated and sit down and my parents say, "Hey, we got these life insurance policies, and here it goes." We hardly have conversations about finances in general.
Mm.
So whereas I see other communities, they have conversations about finances all the time. I mean, we want to talk about the 1 to 5 percenters. They they either pay somebody to teach them all this information, or it's taught down throughout their families. So that's why they know this information already. I think we're just not having those communications.
Hmm. I remember being in my homie's house and they would have a conversations at dinner. And I'm like, first of all, I remember my homie was a white guy. And I remember going to his house for dinner, and I always was kind of like floored that they ate dinner together. Like, that was something I just did not know unless it was a holiday, you know, or some random Sunday. But every day, my dude, every day they were like, "You want to have dinner with us?" I'm like, "Sure." Not every day, but they were like, "You want to have dinner with us?" I'm like, "Sure, bet." And then they put the food all out on the table. Everybody sat around the table. They turned the TV off. It was the weirdest thing, to the point I'm like, "Yo, we just turned the TV off. We're gonna eat with in silence," you know. And they prayed together. and then they had conversation about life, and that was the first for me to something I'd never experienced, because in our culture, you like dinner's ready, you grab it, you go to your little spot in the house or whatever. That's how I used to eat in our home. We go to your little spot, and whenever you ate, if we did eat at the table, the TV was on, but it's just, so yeah, they had conversations like that. They talked about life insurance, they talked about finances, they talked about money and investment. And then when I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, I realized, oh crap, like there's some differences, and it's sad. It's just sad how illiterate people have become when it
Right.
comes to money, especially now. I feel like now there shouldn't be a reason to be
It's
to not have
everywhere.
it together. We just went through, we're in the still kind of, I guess, we were in the middle of this crisis with the pandemic and being what it is. And it's attacked two things. It's attacked our health and it's attacked our finances. So the two things people should be really focused on would be life insurance and finances. But uh, there's still a lot of work to be done. You got a lot of work to do.
They're getting those checks, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, I can go spend it here." Like, my sister-in-law works for she works for like retail. She works retail out here,
Uh-huh.
and then she said when the pandemic happens, and then they started getting these stimulus checks, she was like, "Our stuff skyrocket." I was like, "What? You need to use
Crazy.
money for regular stuff, and you're going to different stores to buy things." I was, okay, all righty.
My gosh, man. Bro, we could talk forever about those stimulus checks, man. We could talk forever because, oh my gosh, I was telling cats, I'm like, bro, never in the history of our life will we ever get to the point where the government is dropping deposits in your bank account. Like that's scary enough to know they know where your bank account is. But the two is that they're dropping money in there, and I'm like, and you chose to go buy a PS5. You chose, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm sitting here thinking to myself, this wasn't, I guess if you don't have it and if you've been skeptic and it's kind of like finances have, you know, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? They have distanced themselves from you your whole life. You wouldn't know what to do if you got a $7,000 check. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So it was like Christmas came twice, three times because we got three stimulus checks. And even the states, depending on what state you're in, California is still trying to give us little $600 checks. But I keep asking people, like, do you invest it? Nah. Did you do this? Nah. I'm like, bro, like, I still have savings from some of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but unfortunately, people like us are cut differently. Like I took my stimulus check and I put it in Vegas stock because Vegas was at $1.50 a share, like Vegas casinos. And I was
Wow.
like, I wonder what happened to my money when Vegas opens up.
Right.
And so but you know what? I just thought like what a white person would do. Because think about it, every time like when the housing market crashed and all these other financial things, there was always a white guy that made money off of it. And I'm like, how do they make money when everybody else is going broke? I just don't understand. And I was looking at the stock market and I was like, man, this stock market looked bad. And I saw Vegas hotels at $1.50 a share.
Man.
And I was like, the win is $1.50. And I was like, I don't need to know too much about the game. I said, let me just put some money in this and see what happens. And bro, I tell you, when Vegas is open, wow, wow. So
That's a good investment.
yeah,
To me, that'd be a good investment. I think that's one thing a lot of people they don't understand that people don't it's not like there's nothing wrong with investing in
hmm
stocks and all that stuff. It's
hmm
just a matter of having your houses situated, like where you want to put your money. Like you don't want to just you had extra money, if you want to call it that, to
yeah.
invest in that. You didn't take your paycheck and like let me just throw a whole bunch of money in there. Like that organization. I just think we don't have that conversation. People aren't educated that way. Like they just want to throw
Mhm.
money.
And it's funny because when you try to have the conversation, a lot of people are just as a general rule. I feel like blacks are pretty skeptical. So
Yeah.
that's That's just something that we have to deal with, unfortunately. But I see you got a shirt that says I'm an entrepreneur. Like,
Yeah.
what does that mean to you, man?
Oh my gosh. So first off,
Let's go with it. Come on.
if I if I wouldn't have got into the business I'm in now, I've heard the word. Like I've heard it all through college. I heard the word entrepreneur, but I never knew what it meant. I
Mhm,
never understood it. And then getting into the business I am now, I mean, while I was in the military, this is what my wife started to do. She did life insurance.
mhm.
And she started doing it. I watched her doing it, and then I realized that I really wanted to help people as well. That's just, I mean, I was serving our country. Of course, I want to help people. So I started doing it with her. And to me, entrepreneur is it's not just doing one thing. It's you're doing multiple things. You're working. I couldn't even always say for yourself, but pretty much you're working for yourself. You're being your own boss. You're actually doing something you want to do, and I don't even want to call it a job, but that's what happened. Entrepreneurship is me doing multiple things. Like I was in the military, and I was helping my wife run this business at the same time, and I have kids, and we have a dog, and like just all these different things at one time. To me, that's an entrepreneur. It's not just doing one thing.
What
So
kind of dog do you have?
I have a German Indian dog. So
What's that? What do they look like?
it's a German Shepherd mixed with the Native American Indian dog. It kind of looks like a wolf.
Wow, man.
So
Does he
yeah,
got like the piercing blue eyes?
no, she has brown eyes.
Oh, okay.
But she definitely looks like a wolf.
You said that so like you were so let down by that. Like, nah, man.
Oh, she because I've just seen these like wolf dogs. I've been
Uh-huh.
seeing them on like social media, and I'm like I love my dog, but man, I'd love to have a wolf dog like that. Just a huge dog that people are scared of.
You just come home, look at your dog, and just so much disappointment. Just like,
I don't let her know that. I don't let her know
yeah, don't give her that energy. She might bite you. Pretty tough, man. Man, I hear. I appreciate everything you said about being an entrepreneur, man, because I hear people talk about it all the time, and you know what? I just feel like it's a fad for a lot of people.
that. Yes,
Like being entrepreneur is cool. And I've been an entrepreneur for long before it was cool. And I'll tell you right now, even though right, there's some things about it, like, yeah, we got freedoms and stuff. I don't know if I would use the word cool to describe what it is you do. Because you did make a statement when you said you're not just doing one thing, you're doing all the things.
man.
You're doing all the things until somebody qualified comes and starts helping you. But even then, you're still doing all the things. You're doing everything. Like you got, oh my gosh, man. Like if somebody, I'm finishing up film school, and I realized after 2 months of film school, I should have went to business school because film is one thing, but I tell you what, I could do this with my eyes closed. It's the business that needed the work. So,
Man, that's why I'm glad I have the mentors I have now,
mhm,
helping us with stuff like that. So a lot of people heard of him. If not, I'm definitely not. I'm not gonna say I'm trying to plug him, but his name is Patrick Bet David.
mhm,
He's the CEO of our company, and the cool thing about him is to be able to watch him grow, watch him do what he's doing, and learn from him. So you
mhm,
want to talk about business? I'd always tell any entrepreneur to watch Valuetainment. He has so much free content on there, so you just to watch and understand what he's talking about business wise, it's unbelievable. So, but we get to have them. So yeah, definitely, I'm 100% believing, like you said, mentors or somebody to help you with the business because that's the whole point is to be able to build and continue on with people. Like I like how we have business conversations about whatever you're doing. I love to be able to talk to my friends about just business in general. That's how
mhm.
we need to do. We need to be able to bounce stuff off of each other.
Yeah. And I think the other thing people need to know about business and entrepreneurship is like it's not an undefeated season. Going into business for yourself or being an entrepreneur doesn't mean you're undefeated all year. Like I tell you what, if you have not, I'm not talking to Anthony. I'm talking to the person who's watching this. All two of you. No, I'm playing, but I'm just saying if you haven't had some L's in your life, bro, you need to. If someone asks me, and I'll ask you after I ask myself this question. If someone asks me, what's the best advice you can give for a young upcoming entrepreneur? I'll say, understand L's, man. Understand how L's work, and know that L does not mean you suck, and L doesn't mean that you should get out the game, and L means you lost. You just took a loss. whoever wins the NBA championship, because it's definitely ain't gonna be the Clippers, they're gonna lose a lot of games this year. You know what I'm saying? It's not like college. College, you can go undefeated in a season. But when you get to professional athletes, you'll get punched in the mouth a few times throughout the year. And you just gotta learn how to take those L's and know that you don't quit the next day because you lost. You just figure out what I did wrong, make the adjustments, and come back and swing again. You may lose 4 or 5 times in a row before you get a dub. So that's one of the things I would say. What's the best advice you've heard or ever given from somebody, either in entrepreneurship or in general?
Be consistent.
Yeah.
It's like never stop. Just always get better, because the person who's consistent and you heard it, you probably outwork, out strategize, out improve. Like, the person that's consistent is gonna win.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if somebody's kicking your butt right now. They might tailor back. They might lose a little gas, but if you're consistent and you're continuing to work, to me, I think like that's the tortoise and the hare story.
Mm-hmm.
It's consistency. It's nonstop. Just he's walking, keep going forward. I think that's the best advice to me, is because some people, they take that L and they're just like, I'm done. I
Mm-hmm.
quit.
Yeah.
Can't do it anymore. And it's
Yeah.
like, you can't. You got to be consistent.
Yeah. What's the biggest thing you had to overcome as an entrepreneur?
Oh man. I can't say taking risks, because I don't mind doing that. I mean, you see me jump out of planes, probably.
Yeah.
So, uh,
You
I would,
overcame. I wouldn't do that. That's not me.
it's fun. It's exciting.
In my mind, I wanted to, but yeah, in actuality, I don't think that's ever gonna happen. But I've mentally jumped out of planes. But
I think the law of the lid is the biggest thing for me, which is basically my identity. I think that was one of the biggest things, because I talked to different people, and I have a team that I work with, and to be able to speak to that team, I felt that I had to be a certain way or a certain area, and not understanding that as I'm growing, they're growing, or as I increase my identity, like, I don't have to be a millionaire right now to have millionaire clients.
mm,
Like, it's not there. It's a mindset. That's why I love reading books. Like, that stuff is amazing to me, because it makes you grow here, and you don't have it in your pockets necessarily yet, but it makes you grow here. So
mhm.
I think the biggest thing I had to overcome was the law of the lid, of me not having that identity that I needed to be able.
Yeah, I have a millionaire friend who told me, millionaire is not necessarily the number in your bank account. It's the mindset that you have. And if you have that mindset, eventually the money finds you. You know, that
Yeah,
stuff finds you. How true do you find that to be?
100%. So Mike Tyson said this at our event. He said, you have to be the champion before you become the champion.
Mm,
And so, I mean, he said, I think somebody asked him, Patrick asked him, when did you know you were, the champion? He's like 14 years old.
mm,
Like, he was already had that mentality. So you have to have that mentality, because how are you going to make $1 million if you don't have the $1 million mentality? Like, it's not there. So you have to have that portion before you even get to the money.
mhm.
You
Yeah,
have to know the habits and everything you have to do before you even get there. So
yeah.
yeah, I completely believe that.
Yo, see what you just said is listen. I'm gonna go on. Put the screen on me. Thank you. The reason I don't know if you heard what Anthony just said, man, but that's the reason why I do this show, because I get motivated my best in the morning. I'm telling you, if you trying to be like, yo, I'm out here killing it, and you still in bed in your drawers, bro, get up, get some coffee in your body, and you're not a champion until you become a champion. I like that, bro. I like that. That's real talk, man. Gosh, man, that was the best question. I wrote some questions down just in case. So we're gonna get a little deep, and they're gonna come out of left field, but let's roll with it. Yeah.
Oh,
Do you have a fear or a recurring nightmare?
fear, recurring nightmare.
Or it doesn't have to be a recurring nightmare, but do you have do everyone has a fear that they have to. It's like always like right there, even though we probably don't give power to it or anything like
Oh yeah.
that. What's one of your fears?
So one of them is, I would say, like, failing my family.
Mm,
Like, not standing up or not doing exactly what I need to do for my family. Like going into the aspect of, I don't want to call it being poor, but having to deal with that, like I'm not able to do things for my children or my wife, me as a man, like that is a fear. And I think that's what drives me to do certain things. Um, what is it? Oh, I had another one in my head too, and I just forgot it. But I think that's what it is right now, is just not being like a big, huge like thing that really bothers me. It would bother me until I got over it, was not being heard.
Mm,
Um, like I always sit here, like I love talking to people, love motivating people, love encouraging people, but the fact of people won't hear me,
mhm,
like they're not going to hear me, and it's like I hope people listen to me. I hope people hear me, but I got to the point to where if people listen to you, they listen to you. If they don't, they don't. Like that's not your
mhm.
job. So that's how I got over that last one. But the other one, yeah, I think that's what keeps people going. Like you have to
Yeah.
have a fear or something somewhere, right? And
Bro, I think it's healthy to have a little fear,
you know,
like whisper in your ear, like, "Oh God," you know what I'm
you
saying?
gonna make it
Like,
today. You gonna make it today. You gonna get what
man,
you need to get.
I feel like if you don't have that fear, then there's a part of you that maybe you're the villain if you don't have that little bit of whisper in your ear. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's a point. I had a thought. Dang it. It was deep. You said something and it triggered me. Man, what was it? You were talking about the fear. Um, oh, okay. Yes, I do remember. So let me tell you, I have a hang up. Maybe you can help me with this hang up. I get pissed, bro. I get pissed when someone asks me for advice and they do the complete opposite of it, right? There's a term I use now where I call people assholes. Like,
Yes.
I mean, you're being an asshole, bro. You're asking me for advice and then not take the advice. Why would so now I have a policy. I talked to guys, so I have a new policy. The new policy is I don't give advice because advice means what I would do in that situation. And sometimes people get like, what would you do in this situation? And I said, I don't know because I would never put myself in those situations. So now I don't have advice. So now it makes me, now I'm a dick because I'm not giving people any answers that they're looking for. But I get completely frustrated when I'm like, yo, this is what you should do. Oh, okay. Oh, this is what you should do with your stimulus check, man. Invest it, save it. Oh, bro, okay, okay. And then next week, I'm like, what'd you do with your stimulus check? Man, we got Disney passes. Like, Negro, why would you do that? Why ask me and then go do something completely different? It makes no sense whatsoever. So I get enraged to the point where I'm like in my head cussing out that person, or maybe not in my head, but in the car, like listening to Tupac and starting beef with people that they didn't know I had beef with. How do you handle that? Because that's my Achilles heel. Anthony, I'm telling you, dude, I will not talk to people for days because and it's their life. They can do whatever they want. Just don't ask me what should you do, and then I tell you, and you do the direct opposite. Like, what was the point of asking me? You wasted my time. That person's an asshole. What would you say to me to cool me off? As you can tell, I'm very passionate about this. You know.
So first off, that's exactly what we had to deal with in the military as an NCO, as a sergeant. I got privates that would just ask me about something. A particular private, he bought a car and he's got it financed. And then he was like, "Hey, sorry, I think I'm about to go buy another car." And I was like, "Just wait until you do whatever you have to do with the first one." He was like, "Well, I'm about to sell it." And past my advice, he went and bought the next one, still got that financed, and then and then the person that was supposed to buy the other car didn't buy the other car. He had to finance two cars. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude! I just told you not to do. Like, you get frustrated. I got you.
Oh,
Um, Now I just become a master question asker, and what I'm talking about is you have the solution. Like a lot of people bring you problems, so like instead of bringing you solutions, and how I see it is you have the solution, you're just not talking it out. So
mm,
I sit there and I'm like, okay, so what would you do? And they would tell me what would they do, or I don't know what I would do. Okay, well let's go down the road then. Let's see. Like,
mhm.
what are you trying to do right now? What do you want that money to do for you? What do you like? So you become a master question asker until they pretty much make their own decision, and it's theirs. Because when you give somebody advice, like when you give them advice, it's yours, right? And so that's
Mhm.
what you would do, but they're
Yes.
not necessarily thinking that way. But if you make them think that way, or you encourage them to think that way, then it's like, bro, that was yours. That was your thought process, not mine. They have to own it. So
Yeah.
whereas if you say it, they can be like, no, 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 like that's what Ramon said he would do, but I wouldn't do something like that.
It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
What would you do? This is what I do. Okay.
That sounds cool. It's somebody who doesn't want to make a decision. That's what that is. Somebody who doesn't want to make a decision.
Yeah, oh yes. Oh come on. Okay, we can. That's a whole other thing. But okay. So I get what you're saying. It's almost like an Inception Jedi mind. Like you got to put it back in their head and make them think that they thought of it. That's exhausting. That's exhausting, man. But I feel like that would be easier. It'd be easier. The killer to me is like the situation with your homeboy, the private in the car, where he bought the second car and the other dude didn't buy the car, and then they come back and say, "What would you do in this situation?" I was like, "Negro, I wouldn't be in that situation." like, 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 what don't you get? I wouldn't be in that situation. Um, so in your bio, you talked about camping. How often do you get to go out and stuff?
When I was in Colorado, we went out all the time. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I was literally one place that we were staying at, like where we lived. I was 5 to 7 minutes away from a place. I like to walk. I like to hike. I was
Mm-hmm.
5 to 7 minutes away from a hiking trail. Like I literally just throw on my backpack and go. That's how easy it was.
Mm-hmm.
Um, right now, we go. I want to say like once a quarter. We go do something as a family because these little crazies that I have, they are. I don't want to call them spoiled. They're very well off, put it that way, because
Yeah.
they like my 8-year-old daughter is like for her birthday, she wanted to go to Cancun. Like
Cancun?
so that's my family.
Wow. See, I thought Chuck E. Cheese was bad.
You
You
know,
going to Cancun?
that's them. That they've been, so now that's her thing. She's like, I want to go to Cancun. Like, no, we're not going there this time.
That's exquisite taste. That's exquisite taste.
Her snacks were like smoked salmon, cheese, and crackers. Like that was her snack. That's my wife's doing right there.
It's a whole different lifestyle, man. My kids live off of fruit snacks. They live off of it, man. Unfortunately, I shouldn't be feeding them that junk. Is there places to camp out there in Houston, or have you been able since you moved?
Not necessarily here. I went up to Dallas. We went up to Dallas and we stayed at we stayed at an Airbnb and we went somewhere. I took my wife camping to Austin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I wonder. She's not a camper. To put
Okay.
it that way. We went. Have you ever heard of glamping before?
Yeah. Yes, I have.
So she still's not doing that one. That's still not good enough for her.
That's not good enough. That I have a friend I've been trying to get to go camping with me, and she's like, "Well, she's a germaphobe, and she's just like, so where do you shower?" I was like, "Well, you kind of don't. We just wipe down. Wipe down. How long are we gonna be there? Well, 5, 6 days. Well, how are we gonna eat? Oh, you don't make our food." And you take an RV? No, we get tents, man. I got this tent where you look out and see the stars. And she's like, pass, hard pass. I'm not doing that. Like, man, like, yeah. I don't get to go out often because I don't want to be alone. Because then you'll see me on the news, missing black man in the Sequoia Mountains. Like, I don't think I'm resourceful. I'm not as resourceful as you, Anthony. That's for sure. Because I'm gonna get lost. So I need at least 2 people with me to help me get my way back down. Have you ever been to Sequoia? Have you ever done that over there
No,
in California?
no.
That's pretty fun. That was pretty fun. Being around, running from cubs. The cubs are the most playful things out there, and you just gotta run from them because there's a mom who doesn't understand that Black Lives Matter, and so you just run from cubs and stuff like that. Oh my goodness. So what else? So, uh, is the hub for your business? Is it in Houston?
So the headquarters for the whole company is in Dallas.
Okay.
My headquarters, we're building multiple offices. So my headquarters, my office, my head one is here in Humble, Texas, in Northeast Houston. I
Did you say
have
Humboldt?
say again.
Did you say Humboldt?
It's called Humble, Texas. So it's spelled humble, but out here in Texas they say humble.
Oh my
That's a
god.
whole different thing. I don't understand why, because then it would be like, wouldn't that be Houston if you go?
Yeah, Houston, if you're doing it like that.
But no, Yeah, I got told like a Texan ripped me a new one. He was like, "It's not humble, it's humble," and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Like, my bad for using the proper pronunciation."
Texas, man, Texans. Do you enjoy it though? How much are you guys enjoying Texas? Do you love it? Do you hate it?
I like it a lot. I do.
Yeah.
It's nice weather. It's a lot of good stuff to do out here. Um, yeah, everything is cool. I don't like I said, it's only been since February, so
Mm,
I guess we're ask me again in February. Like do a whole year here,
yeah.
but so far I enjoy it.
Yeah. I can't fool with Texas for whatever reason. I can visit, but then so you're northeast of Houston. I'm trying to think. I've been to Houston a couple times. I'm trying to place where that would be at. I think I know an idea with that area, but it's like right on the outskirts of the city,
Right,
right?
right.
Okay, yeah, okay, yeah. Houston's an interesting place, bro. This is it's a different vibe.
Yeah,
It's a different vibe. I know it's different from Colorado. What part of Colorado were you in?
I was in Colorado Springs.
Oh gosh, yeah,
Yeah.
it's different.
Oh yeah, and I mean it was growing out there. Colorado Springs was growing when we bought our first house. It's still growing,
Yeah.
continuing to get bigger and bigger.
Would
Yeah.
you ever come back to California?
No, no, nah, nah, bro. I'm good. I'm good. I'll visit. I
Yeah.
visit, but
Your
no.
mom is here, right? She's
Yep,
here.
yep. My parents are there.
She keeps reminding my mom every time they see each other that we know each other. Like, yeah. And my
Right.
mom keeps reminding me. I'm like, yeah, I know. I know.
She keeps telling me about the pastor, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, he's so good." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I had him before you did.
Yeah.
What in the world?"
Man. Oh, yeah. I don't know what it is. Moms like to tell you stuff that you knew for years. Like, man, Pastor Mark was smart. I was like,
There you go.
okay. He
Yeah.
should be. He's been in the game for a very long time. I'd be nervous if he hasn't evolved at some level. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I'd be concerned for my mom for going to that church. Um, there's this. I hate this question, but I ask it because it promotes a good conversation. Um, it's that proverbial: if you knew then what you know now, what would be like two things you do extremely different?
Uh, get into entrepreneurship earlier,
Mm,
because I know I would have thrived at it because I just enjoy it so much. Um, listen to myself more.
hmm
Stop listening to everybody else. Stop being a asshole. I would,
Yeah,
would listen to myself more because I had certain thoughts in my head or things I wanted to do that if I would have done it, I mean, you don't know what could have happened. So
hmm
yeah, I would have done that. I would have listened to myself more.
yeah. So I think some of the greatest potholes come from that. Like, because I think about that too. Like, man, I was right. Have you ever thought about like there's certain things you go, man, I was dead on right about that. Why did I not follow through with that thought? I don't know
Yeah,
how many times I've had that. I'm like, oh, it'd be smart if somebody did that. Ain't me. And then realize somebody come along 6 years later and do it, and you're like, yo, why did I not follow through all the way with that?
the skate shoes. I came out that before anybody else
You
did.
came out with skate shoe.
I literally was sitting there. I was like, man, it'd be so. I remember when I was a kid, man, it'd be so cool if we could just have shoes and we just pop out skates and just go. Like I thought about it. I'm not joking. I thought about it as a kid. And then they came out with them. And like today, my daughter has a pair. I'm like, I'd still be making money right
You
now.
still be making money, man. Yo, I'm not gonna lie to you. This is a true story. Put this on everything that I love. I met this dude named David, man, and he met him through his girlfriend. You know his girlfriend, Heather. He's JP's sister.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So Heather brought him to me, and Heather was like, yeah, Rose works on film. He's making films and all this other stuff. He's, oh, cool. What are you working on? And I said to him, I'm working on an idea that I want to sell to a Hollywood studio. And this was years ago. This is like 2000, even before 2009. So it had to be like 7 or 8. And I go, here's the idea, bro. I would like to make a Wonder Woman movie. And he was like, I'm pretty sure Hollywood thought that. I said, no, no, no. Hollywood has not been able to pin down how to make a Wonder Woman movie. Yes, but I think I have the idea. And I told him verbally, step by step, of how to do a Wonder Woman film. I said, to make a Wonder Woman film work, she's a goddess, so she has to fight a god. So that means her enemy has to be Ares. But Ares wouldn't just show up as a god. Ares would be a human and he'd have an army. But I think the army he'd have would be the Nazi army. And she would have to fight them. And then I broke down everything, I even had a vision of the scene where you look in the movie where she's standing on the cliff and the plane falls into the water, where I visioned that. I even wrote that down. And for years, I had people we would talk about, like, yo, it's gotta be this way, gotta be that way. And because of my own whatever disbelief or didn't believe in myself, just didn't do anything after that. And I know it's not David, because I know David to this day, and he don't work in Hollywood. And so no one took this idea. No one took it. And I went and saw the movie, and it was almost cut for cut exactly what I envisioned. And story, I'm talking about story arc, Anthony. The story was the story where I wrote. I didn't even write it down. I just wrote notes. But it's the story and even the look of Wonder Woman. I even said she can't be a white girl with black hair. She has to be something like Israeli or something. She's got to be Amazon. She's got to be exotic looking. And I watched it in theaters, and literally a tear came down my face. Like, yo, this was my movie. Like, I can't believe I made this, but I didn't make it. So yeah, that, like, yeah, we could have, bro. We would have been sitting on empires at this point. We this show would be completely different. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm Ramon. You know me. I made all the Wonder Woman films because there have been like 4 by now, and I'm with Anthony. He created skate shoes and hoverboards. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't have just stopped there. We would have just went to the next level. So
Oh, geez.
if you're a young dude out there and you hear these two dudes talk, yo, follow it, man. Follow that gut. Follow that gut, man. Did you ever think you'd be this old? How old are you now? 35, 36?
34.
Oh, man, you ain't old. But did you ever think you'd be, is that ever something that you ever processed when you were younger? Like, one day I'll be 34. Do you ever
No.
think?
Well, I definitely didn't think I was gonna be 34 with 3 kids and a wife. Like,
Right. Come on, man. I knew I wasn't gonna be this person.
uh, I actually, one of my biggest things is when you're dealing with like age. I
Mhm.
think 30. Like, I distinctly remember this. I sat down my 30th birthday and I was all like, I'm living now. Like, I literally was like, I'm living now. I'm 30. I have a career. I have children, like wife. I'm living. Whereas, like, I was like, what was I doing in my 20s? And if you go back, I urge anybody to do that. Go back and like look throughout your 20s. And Anthony's like philosophy on that is like the early 20s, you're just doing whatever.
Mhm.
The mid 20s, you're like, all right, I need to be figuring out something. And then you get to your late 20s and you're like, what was I doing in my early 20s? And then you hit 30 and you're like, all right, like, game on.
Mhm.
So that I literally sat there and did that in my head.
Man, that's true. And man, let me real quick. Yeah. I did a lot of ministry in my 20s. I was doing ministry like crazy. But you're right. I didn't really know what life was until, like, life didn't start till 30.
You know,
30 is when it hit. And I was still kind of doing I was doing some I was doing some gangster stuff at 30, bro. I was doing some 20-year-old stuff where I was like, yeah, I probably should grow up. But still, dang, you're right. Gosh. So what do you think 40 looks like for you? 40 and 50, what does that look like for Anthony?
40, 40, still young. Oh yeah. Um, hopefully I'm I'm where I want to be. Millionaire status, of course, definitely. Uh, being a very prominent speaker.
Mhm.
Uh, I've always wanted to speak. That's a big thing to me. So being a prominent speaker, being able to travel like I want to travel, um, having a lot of things off my vision board. Because
Mhm.
I didn't believe in vision boards for a long time, Ramon. Like, I'm not joking, but I believe in them now. Just put it that way.
Really?
Uh,
What's the psyche behind the vision board? What's the psyche behind it?
like, you're putting that stuff into. If you don't believe in the guy upstairs, you're putting stuff into the universe.
Mhm.
Um, If you do believe the guy upstairs, you're actually showing what you really want, and you're putting it out there, and you're saying this is what you want, and you're looking at it, and you're
Mm,
visualizing it. So my example is, I'm not joking when I say this. We've always talked about vision boards in our company and what we do. I just never really like made a vision board hardcore. I did one time, like a year ago. I actually made the vision board out. I put this watch that I really liked on my phone,
mhm.
and my wife has never seen it. And when I got out the military, she bought me a watch, a Sterling watch, and it looks almost exactly like the watch I put on my vision board. She had never saw it, and I
Wow.
was like, "Oh yeah, I want this car. I want this. I want to do that.
Mm.
Everything."
So do you think there's a power of manifestation with the vision board? There's
Yeah,
power of manifestation.
definitely.
Hmm.
And not
I
only that, it makes you like, if I have my vision board here at the office,
mhm,
when I'm making phone calls or when I'm doing something, it gives me an extra boost. Like I have a virtual one on my phone too,
mhm.
so you're able to look at that and be like, "This is what I'm going for. Like this is why I want to do that."
Do you when you make a vision board, is it just like a whiteboard where you're writing down what it is you're looking for? Or is it pictures? What entails? What constitutes a good vision board?
So to me, it's both. There's pictures that you want. Um, if it's like an actual house that you want, go ahead and print it up and put it on there. There's certain words on there, like I want to do a TED talk, so I actually have a picture of the TED talk stage on my
Mhm,
vision board because that's I want to do a TED talk. Um, I want to go on these grand vacations. So I found like this really nice vacation spot where I know my wife likes to travel and she likes to go by water. My wife loves water. So I made it on my vision board like this really nice looking spot next to some water. So I think it's just things that you really want. I want a Ferrari. Like I found the
mhm.
exact one I want, I printed that sucker up, and I put on my vision board.
Okay.
So yeah, and then there's just words, like successful, speaker, those type of things.
Hmm. Is it like how often do you update it? How often do you update the board?
That one was just the year vision board. So my phone one I can update every day if I wanted to. I
Mhm,
probably do that. My phone one, if I see something else that I like, I
mhm,
just add it to it. So
mm.
like my watch, I already got the watch now. So I just, I'm just
Take the watch off, add something else on there.
I gotta get a different watch on there. Let me see if I can get her to buy me this one. So
Mm, awesome. That's interesting. And the reason I'm asking because I always thought they were kind of like well, when I would hear people talk about it, it seemed almost like shish boom bosh, kind of like cheerleading. And I can see how it benefits. And that's why I was asking. 'Cause I'm trying to see how it would benefit me to have one. Um, you just gotta sit me down and make me do it because
right,
that's the hard part. Like, yeah, I gotta make it though. Like, can I visualize it? And I'm a visualizer. Like, you tell me if I say, "Oh, I want to get this car," I'll look at my car and turn it into it in my head. Like, no, you're not a Nissan Altima. You're a Wagoneer. You know what I'm saying? Which is the new car that I want so bad. Oh my god! So you know what? I'm just gonna post pictures of the Wagoneer all throughout the house. That's just what I'm gonna have to
oh
do.
yeah, oh yeah. You should have it with your group, like group of friends. Just do like a vision board like party.
Hmm. We're gonna have to do that. We're gonna have to do it. I doubt that for a second. I was like, man, vision board party would be dope.
Yeah,
We might have to do it, man. And we'll tag you in our photos so you can say that, Anthony inspired us to have a vision board party. Yeah, why not? What's gonna happen? What's the worst that's happened?
right.
Um, so more questions, ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. Random question. Your guilty pleasure. What's your guilty pleasure?
Uh, guilty pleasure. Cigars and bourbon.
Mm.
Guilty pleasure.
All right, let's talk about bourbon.
Okay.
Hey, I'm not a big bourbon drinker. I'm huge on rum though. I'm like a pirate, like rum and booty. For whatever reason, I like those two. But bourbon, what's like what's the perfect bourbon for you? Like, is there a brand? Is there a type that you're just like, oh yeah?
Well, right now I'm still in the learning phases. To me,
Mhm.
I actually just found an event out here. They're doing the sixth annual Houston like whiskey and bourbon thing. Like I'm super excited to go.
Wow.
Um, but so 40 46, our maker's mark.
Mhm.
is one that I started with, and then I got 46, which is a better brand for them, and I like that one. Um, I've tried multiple bourbons. My buddy bought me one called Voyage, which is really good. It all depends on what you're trying to drink and how you're learning it. How I got into bourbon was I literally watched a documentary. I'm big into documentaries. I watched a
Mhm.
documentary called Neat, and it talked about like how whiskey is made in bourbon, and
Yes.
it's like it's all American. And I was like, I'm American, so
You gotta try it.
I'm gonna drink bourbon. Like that's what I'm gonna do.
Uh,
So I just started that way and starting on trying all the different ones, and I just realized it was something cool to do, something good to have, and that's what wealthy people do. They drink bourbon. So
That's so boss too, bro. That's a boss move. Like, wait, I wasn't expecting cigars and bourbon, but it's so boss. I had this visual, this thought of you sitting there with bourbon and a cigar, leaning back like this in your chair, circling your bourbon, talking to Jay Z. I don't know why in my head you were talking to Jay Z because I
yes,
like
put it out
Jay.
there. Put it out there.
And here I come with my Malibu rum. Like, yo, guys, what's good? What's what's really good? That's my guilty pleasure. Any type of bro, if I could take you into my kitchen right now, I show you like all bottles of rum. I just love rum. I don't understand my fascination with it. I love it. I love it. I love it straight. I love it blended. I have problems. Okay. Um, cigars. What's like? So talk to me through cigars. 'Cause I love cigars. I love the smell of cigars. Right?
Okay.
Is there different types of cigars?
Yeah, and different types. I want to say different. I don't want to say different flavors. There are flavors. I'm not really into like. I don't put flavored whatever cherry or what. I don't do any of that. It's just regular cigars, but they have different taste, and it's just like how could you say like basically what you would do is the more cigars you smoke, it opens up different taste buds for you. So and another thing about cigars and bourbon is it's a thing where you don't just like it's not a hurry up and drink thing. It's a
Mhm.
conversation thing. You smoke a cigar. Some of them smoke for 45 minutes. Some of
Mhm.
them smoke for 30 minutes. Some of them smoke for an hour. So it's a time that you have with either somebody or it could just be yourself. And you
Mhm.
like when the cigar's done, like my time is done.
Mhm.
So it's conversations. So yeah, different cigars. I
Mhm.
have my favorites. Oliva is one of my favorites. I actually there's a black owned cigar company out here called Emperor Cigars, and like that's now my new favorite because
Mhm.
it was just amazing taste. So
They complement each other too, don't they?
oh yeah,
Cigars and bourbon.
oh yeah.
I don't think cigars will go with rum. I would have to have a joint. I don't know what comes with rum. It wouldn't even be a joint. And I don't know.
That reminds me of Austin Powers when he was like smoking a pancake, something is like he just
Sticking a
started.
pancake. Yeah, that's what goes with rum. Sticking a pancake. Oh gosh. I'm so ghetto. That's crazy. But that's all right. Hey, next time I come out there, man, even though I drag my butt, Carla's been trying to get me to come to Texas so bad.
You see? Did you see the picture?
Huh?
Did you see the picture? No, I don't know if I sent it to her.
I
I
didn't see.
visited her like like a month ago. I went
Uh-huh.
up to Dallas and we hung out.
Yeah, bro, Carla is living her best life out there, bro. Everyone who's out there enjoys it so much. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna come through. I would like to visit Waco because I'm a huge Chip and Joanna Gaines fan. So I do want to go visit the Shilohs. How far are you from Waco?
Probably about 45 minutes, maybe I think.
Oh, you right there. So how far are you from Carla? Because Carla's over in Fort Worth area, right?
Yeah, yeah. She's like it's like a 3.5 hour drive.
Also, Waco's like in between y'all,
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
bro. Yo, so when I get out there, man, Carla's trying to get us out there, and she gonna do it because Carla's persistent. So she gonna get us out there. So we definitely uh we're gonna have to have some bourbon and some cigars,
Yeah,
bro.
I go to Dallas every month.
Do you really?
Yep.
So maybe next time, maybe in the first of the year or something like that, we'll just link the calendars up.
Okay.
So we could be in Dallas at the same time. That'd be cool, man. I would love to spend time with you, man.
You know it.
That'd be awesome. Awesome. All right. Um, if no, that's a dumb question. I'm looking through my questions. That was a dumb question. What's left? What's left for Anthony? What's left on the bucket list? What's left on you have so many different accomplishments. You've tried so many different things. You've done these things. what's left for Anthony? What other mountain is there to climb other than being successful in business?
Right.
So outside of that, like, are we swimming with sharks? Or like, you know, like what's another thing that Anthony looks at and he's like, and bro, we didn't even get too close because I wanted to talk a little bit more about just like your the way you attack situations in life. So what's next for you? Like, what's the next thing that you feel like you want to attack and deal with?
Uh, you said other than business. Let's see. That's on my head right now. I want to get my wife her house. She wants a castle. And like to me, that is the next mountain, if you will, because she has a huge house in mind. Like she's had the plans since she was like 16.
Oh, she want to build it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She has the castle blueprints are already there. No one else has these blueprints. Like no one has made these. So
She has blueprints.
yep.
So you
There was a company that made the blueprint, but nobody has ever bought this blueprint. And it's been around
okay.
since she's 16 years old. So she's like, it's mine. Like that's the whole point. So I was like, bet, let's do it. Let's do it. I think that's one thing that keeps me going. I didn't learn that to this year either. Like my family's goals and dreams, like
Mhm.
what they want to accomplish. I think that's one thing that keeps me going because that's what I want to accomplish too. So the castle is like, I'm like, we got to get it. We have to. We have to get this
My
castle.
guy said a castle. A castle. Like you be the first nigga on the block with a castle.
I want land. I want a lot of land.
Yeah, but you're in a place where you can get a lot of land. There's a lot
Yep.
of land in your city, right? In Humble.
Yes.
I
Yes.
said it right. Humble.
Yeah.
Man.
Up in this area, there's a lot of land, and I'd love to get land. I just to have it and to be able to build.
Mhm.
Um, my mindset has grown tremendously from where I was 10 years ago.
Mhm.
Um, to like now, I'm thinking, wouldn't it be great to have like a whole bunch of land and be like, yo, Ramon, like, bro, why don't you just come up and build a house up here in this area right here, and
Yeah, man.
you can be a neighbor. Like you don't have to live there forever, like all the time. You just have a
Mhm.
house. So whenever you want to come, you can.
Yeah.
But it's like to build, and you don't have to pay for land. Like the land's already paid for. Just
That's
build.
crazy, man. That's inspiring. I'm inspired by that. I'm inspired because look, if anybody can pull off a castle, yeah. If anyone can pull that off, Anthony, you the man. You can do that. I totally believe that this man gonna have a castle one day. Like that's why I'm so quiet because I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, he gonna build a castle.
Man, castle with my art room.
Hmm.
My art room's gonna have almost every instrument you can think of, plus art on the walls. Like, if you gonna come to my house, you gonna talk about you play the flute. Oh, really? I got a flute over here.
Yo,
Like,
that'd be the most random dude. Like, yo, we go over to my homeboy Anthony, I'll jam out, and he'd be like, "Doo-doo-doo-doo, welcome to my castle. Drawbridge drops. We got Mo. I'm like, yo, this is, and we got a bourbon room with the cigar. Oh my gosh,
yep,
that's fire. That's
all
fire.
that stuff. I told my wife, as long as you give me a one room, I have my
Mhm.
humidor in there with a whole bunch of different cigars. I have my bourbon, like top shelf. So you know
Mhm.
when you come visit, like if I pick one from down here, you don't like you're not.
You ain't important.
Yeah.
You ain't important. I'll be hot too. I'll be like, nah, fam. You gotta go top. You gotta get the ladder. Don't give me that stuff right there at eye level. I don't want that. I live my whole life. I live my whole life, Anthony, ordering right there. I never even looked up. And it took me hanging out with people who got money to be like, wait, where's that one at? It's at the top. I'm like, oh, I didn't know there was different. Okay, yeah, give me a glass of that. And then I get the tab and I'm like, what did I just pay for? Don't make me go back to my old ways, Anthony. Like, don't have me looking at straight ahead and be like, oh yeah, it's not really brown. It's kind of lightish brown. Don't give me that one. Don't give me that one. I want the smooth. I want to know what smooth tastes like. Don't give me the
Yes.
yeah. I've had some bad bourbon. I've had some bad bourbon. I think I've had two glasses my whole life. One was bad, one was good. And me not being a connoisseur of it, I could tell the difference.
Yeah.
Like it's really simple. You can really tell a difference on something like that. So that's awesome, man. I can't wait to hang out, man. We're gonna hang out. I'm definitely gonna link up. We'll definitely link up when I come to Dallas. Gotta go. We're gonna record Carla's album in the next 4 months. If she's not gonna come out there, we'll definitely go out there, and we'll have to link up our calendars. So make sure at the same time I'm in Dallas, you'll be in Dallas,
We know it.
and we'll tear up Carla's house. That's what we'll do.
Yes.
We'll party at her house and tear it up. She's loving it though. She's always calling me from the HOA parties, and she's like, "I'm at a party with HOA." I'm like, "Who parties with their neighbors like that? They party tough."
She was telling me that too. Last time I was out there, she was like, "We're gonna be at this little thing, but if you can hang out, then just come on." I was like, "Okay."
Bro, it was like college all over again. She called me on Saturday night and she was like, "Yeah, have a party at the HOAs." And then the neighbor gets on the, "Who is this?" She was, "This is my friend from California." And he's all on the phone. "Yo, if you leave right now, you can get here." I was like, "Yo, I can't fool parents like that. Like that mess up my whole neighborhood if I party hard like that." Oh, Anthony, man, thank you for coming on my show, man. I know you gotta get back to work. You got a busy day.
Thanks for having me, bro.
You'll be listen. If you guys enjoy Anthony, I just want to let you know he gonna be here in 11 hours on Epic Thoughts tonight. So make sure you log on here on YouTube, Epic Thoughts, and on HPTV. If you're watching HPTV, thank you for joining me this morning, and we will talk to you tonight. Me and Anthony will be back on it. Epic Thoughts. We're talking about cancel culture. We're talking about other stuff. We're talking about Ice Cube a little bit, and we're gonna get into it, man. All right, man. Anthony, thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate you, bro.
Thanks for having me, bro.
All right, I'll see you tonight. Thanks.
All right.